Toss to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl!
Welcome to Patriots Touchback Podcast.
No additional shots nor powder. A compass that doesn't point north. And I half expected it to be made of wood. You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
But you have heard of.
We've certainly heard of him indeed. Welcome everybody back to the Patriots Touchback Podcast. It is season 3, episode 32. And we have got a humongous game on our hands for week 10 as we are back on the road, or well, rather in this case, we set sail because we face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team that are sitting very comfortably right now at the top of the NFC South, also sitting at 6-2. They also have an MVP caliber quarterback in their sights. So we will go into it. We have got Jamie from Bucs UK on for tonight. Jamie, big up to you, mate. How are we doing this evening?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm doing great. It's a great season so far. We're having a baking time. Thanks for all the love and the appreciation. And like I said, this weekend it should be a tasty affair for the Brady grudge match, which is why I was debating which jersey to put on today. I've got a few different ones, but I was like, it's Patriots, it's Bucs, it has to be Brady, right? It's all about Brady.
Yeah, it should be called the Brady Bowl preview, shouldn't it? Rather than that, well, I don't know why I just typed it, but never mind. Kieran, as always, big up, mate. Hope you are good. Hope you're ready for this. This is a game I think we're all very, very intrigued about. Very enticing. Two offenses they know that can throw haymakers at each other. We've got a lot of questions to ask, a lot of key matchups to deep dive into. Smash the like button, Gronk spike the subscribe button, tell your friends, follow us on our social media platforms, follow the podcast on Spotify and Apple. Bucs UK's Twitter page is down in the description below, and I'll also get their Instagram page in the description down there below as well. So make sure you go check them out as well. They do a lot of good stuff. They do some watch parties there as well, which is always a crack as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. Speaking of, we do have one actually coming up. We have two in the year. We've got one down south in London, which was previous, and then we've got another one coming up in Leeds, ready for the Buccaneers Bills game. So that's just after you guys. So next weekend we've got the watch party in Leeds. So can't wait.
That'll be a quality meet up. Jamie, we'll start off with obviously we'll start with the Buccaneers. Okay, you're sitting at 6-2, first in your division. The NFC South is not exactly a competitive division at the moment, shall we say? The Saints are they finally decided to stop kicking the can down the road and now do something about themselves. The Falcons, I mean, they're like a woman with BPD. You got absolutely no idea what they're going to turn up like. And then you got the Panthers, who are frisky. I would call them. I call them frisky. What have you made so far with the Bucs so far in the first 9 weeks?
I mean, we've carried on from last season. I mean, a lot of people last year didn't give us any kind of hope for anything. We had Baker Mayfield, who were kind of a laughing stock. We were predicted to finish bottom of the division, and somehow we won that division for the 4th time in a row. We're pretty sitting comfortably. Hopefully going to go for that 5th in a row for the first time in franchise history, 5 NFC South titles. So I can't wait. Hope everything's been going well. Panthers have been a big surprise. I remember when Bijan joined as well at the Falcons. Everyone was like, the Falcons are going to dominate this division for the next 10 years. That hasn't happened. And Derek Carr did Derek Carr. Spencer Rattler's come in and now gone from him. So I'll take an NFC South. I mean, regarded as one of the worst franchises in the history of the NFL. I'm taking 5 in a row. I'm happy. I'm loving life right now. I've lived through some dark times.
Before I get into my question, I just have to say that do have a little bit of a soft spot for Tampa Bay, just because. So this is you guys were the very first NFL team I visited in America. So I went on holiday to Florida in 2014, did a stadium tour around Raymond James Stadium. got to go on the pirate ship. And they even gave us some like their plastic fake jewelry that's on the ship and stuff like that. Like, it was a really cool experience. So kind of ever since then, like, it's been, you know, I've always quite liked Tampa, and of course there's been history since with Brady and Gronk and all kinds like that. But yeah, just really like them. But I just want to ask you, Jamie, rewinding back to the off season, you just come off a really good year, and you get to the draft, and Emeka Egbuka's name is called in the first round. Now, we all know what a tremendous player he is, but were you a little bit surprised that you went receiver in round one after, you know, just coming off such a good year where your offense was explosive? It wasn't necessarily a need with the 3 receivers you had. You re-signed Godwin. Like, did that catch your fan base by surprise a bit?
I mean, I can't speak for everybody at all, but I mean, it was definitely a shock because, like you said, for me, arguably, I would say Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, when they are both on it and they're not injured, like, they are the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. I know some people will come at me with some hate there, or possibly come at me with the Lions, possibly, but like, they're just so good. So, and then obviously we did have our other rookies that year as well, like Jalen McMillan as well. But again, he seemed to be injury prone. I don't think he's even made an appearance this season so far. And I think the main thing was we needed a lineman. We needed something to protect, to make sure that somebody like Rashad Wright, that Bucky can go and make those runs. So when Ibuka came out, I was like, okay. I mean, another weapon's not going to hurt. But like I said, it was definitely a big surprise. I don't think anyone was going in their drafts to go, yeah, wide receiver. That's what the Bucs need. It wasn't a need, but, you know, we'll happily take another weapon.
I say, could that potentially have been with Chris Godwin, you know, with his being a little bit injury prone now, and obviously Mike Evans not getting any younger? Could that have been the possibility of that, saying we might need to have a succession plan in place ready in case all of a sudden Mike Evans decides to go down and, you know, be bad, and same with Chris Godwin as well. I think Godwin's played 2 games all season. So I think getting a receiver in the draft, as good as Emeka Egbuka is, I think was actually a swift row of genius in that one.
How is it that can you do what Gronk does? Can you pronounce it like Gronk pronounced it? Egbuka? I don't know if you saw that video of how he pronounced it. But yeah, I mean, obviously Mike Evans has been incredible. I think first ballot Hall of Famer, 10 seasons, 1,000 yards consecutively. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to hit that now unless he has an incredible playoff run and hits 500 yards in all of the games. If he does come back, which we can hope for, he might be back for the playoffs. But like I said, Chris Godwin had that horrible injury last year and he was out for the season. He's only played 2 games, like you said, and I think he's already been ruled out for this week as well.
Yeah.
So, and Bucky, which, you know, but Ibuka, I mean, he's put that team on his back, and he's again going an incredible like rookie season, and one of those things that really, I think Bucky Irving should have probably went for rookie of the season last year for his season. Ibuka's hopefully winning that way, but for some reason the NFL always goes for the quarterbacks. But I'm just hoping Ibuka, with his performances, he is at the moment the rookie of the season, the offensive player rookie of the year. Like, he's just been some of the catches, some of the plays. When we've had him and Tez Johnson, another rookie as well, and Baker's still putting up those numbers.
I don't think there's any other player I can think of. I know Tyler Warren for the Colts has been pretty good. Quinshon Judkins for the Browns, when he has actually come on board, has looked good again. But there isn't really a receiver I can think of, especially for rookie MVP. Yeah. I think that's a tricky one. But Buka's
I feel like Dart is going to have to need a really strong back end of the season probably to contest Emeka Egbuka. You know, if he's lost every weapon he's got, you know, he's a gun without any ammunition at the moment. Like, but if he has a strong finish to the season, that could be probably a head-to-head for it. But I think at this stage, Emeka Egbuka has probably got a huge leg up to win that award.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, Jackson Dark has been incredible since he's come in. I mean, to take over Russell Wilson, Again, I know you've got some quite fond memories of Russell Wilson, I'm sure, in the past.
Yeah, well, there's one that we always particularly like, but yeah, we don't mind. We don't mind Rusty and his moon ball.
I got a funny email the other day, actually. You've heard of Cameo? Like, we know what Cameo is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came up on an email saying Russell Wilson now on Cameo. I was like, well, obviously he's not doing anything else now, is he? But no, like Russell Wilson to take over that job, and like I said, they had some incredible ones. I love New York. Like New York is my favorite place in the world, bar Florida, obviously. So I've always had a soft spot for the Giants. So I don't mind the Giants in that sense. But like I said, the Scatterbo was just he was a machine, and then Jackson Dart with that as well. So it's unfortunate, and I do think they are going to slightly fall off the Giants. But like I said, Dart, I don't think Cam Ward's got any chance. The Tennessee Titans have been a bit questionable, shall we say. But Jackson Dart is definitely a good shout to have for that offensive because, like I said, the NFL always go for the quarterback, and we need some running back love. We need some wide receiver love out there because, like I said, what they've done, Bucky last season, Ibuka this season, and that's not me just being biased, maybe a little bit, but they have been incredible.
Let's talk about your quarterback. Let's talk about Baker Mayfield. Since he's come to the Buccaneers in 2023, he's always proven to have a chip on his shoulder. He's always wanted something to prove. The Bucs gave him the contract that he actually does deserve. He's pretty much now got all the money back that he lost from the Browns in 2022. But his stats so far this year is 172 passes completed, completion percentage is 63.9, 19, just over 1,900 yards passing, 13 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions on the season. He's been sacked 17 times, which is right now it's half compared to what he's been sacked in his last 2 years, and a passer rate of 98.1 as it currently stands. Baker, but that's not my most impressive stat. The most impressive stat for me for Baker is he's had 4 fourth quarter final drives to win the game. I mean, that's what we call the epitome of clutch.
Yeah, I mean, you got to let him bake. I mean, it's one of those things, and I think we heard the chants MVP, even if Tez Johnson thought they were for him at that one point. But yeah, Baker Mayfield, it was one of those things. Like again, I've been a Bucs fan for 20 years, properly in the NFL, like locked in for the last 10, 15. So Jameis Winston years, and those were interesting times. But with Baker Mayfield, like that's what winning is all about, like having those fourth quarter. That's what you need in that quarterback to actually drive your team down there and win those games. And that's the difference between what we've not had in the past. We've just had somebody just throw it and get 30 interceptions in the season. So Baker's just been unreal. He's been those clutch moments, and I absolutely love Brady for everything that he's done. But I'm one of those, like, I would love a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, a Jalen Hurts, somebody that can run with the ball. And Baker's runs this season have just been like that's what I love him. And I never thought I could love anyone more than Jameis Winston. Is
that great for him just to like scramble, or is that only because he's doing it because his offensive line was not doing him any favors? Because the injuries have taken a toll. I wouldn't just say with Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin. The offensive line has literally had a chainsaw took to it.
Yeah, I mean, Gedicke's obviously been out, and then Reddick, who might be returning as well, hopefully for this game. I know he's questionable at the moment, but he has one of those things, and I think having those legs to actually just pick up those extra yards and rather than just throwing it, because we know he's got a cannon. But again, when you've only got rookie wide receivers or Sterling Shepard, Ibuka, Tez Johnson, you've got that option because we all know Bucky is that man who's going to basically get there. So they're coming after him, and he's just got those extra time and those extra yards in him to actually make those runs. And like I said, everybody sees that he is a threat now, and he's obviously being targeted for that. So we haven't seen as many runs in the recent times, but I think it's one of those things, like the firing up side of it all as well. Like, you don't fire up Baker Mayfield, especially in those fourth quarters, because he's just been so good, extending the plays. And that's one thing I've always been watching us just third and out, like going out, 3 and out, and then punting the ball away. And he's extending plays. He's keeping the ball. And that's exactly what we've needed in this time. It's just been so good to watch. It's been hard to watch, like, those fourth quarters, like literally heart racing at 3 a.m. in the morning at times.
Well,
But
we haven't had any of that. We haven't had any all season apart from last week against the Falcons. That's the only time where I felt like, oh God, here we go. I don't like this feeling. Go on,
and we've had that 4 weeks in a row. Like you said, we've had those 4-quarter comebacks, and have literally been last play, Chase McLaughlin with those clutch moments, with the field goal wins. We had that moment where we thought we lost the game with a minute left, and then we went back down and won the game. It's like, this is why we fall in love with the sport, for moments like this. I don't think we want that every week, because I know when we're in the forums and we're talking about the games, there's literally popping up going, my God, I can't think I can handle this. I don't think I can handle this. I don't think I can handle this. And, you know, hopefully, but we're winning games. We're getting the wins. Like I said, we are 6-2. We're top of the NFC South. So hopefully, long may it continue this weekend.
Yeah, I think to Baker's credit, he's done remarkably well considering the cards he's been dealt this year with all the injuries around him, and the fact that he's been able to elevate the play of, you know, players that are quite far down on the depth chart that have had to step up and contribute. Like, he's looked remarkable. Now, his numbers have regressed the last couple of weeks, but I still think overall, like, he's had a tremendous season, and I've always been a fan of him going back to his days at Oklahoma. But I guess, you know, the MVP race is going to be interesting now, isn't it? Because I wouldn't say he's out of it per se. Like, I feel like, you know, you're looking at 5 or 6 candidates at the moment. You know, our QB is certainly in the mix there, as is yours. I mean, I guess the question is, you know, has he exceeded expectations over the last 2 years? Because I think people were very quick to write him off after the kind of the way it ended in Cleveland and the short stint in Carolina. But that Rams appearance seems to have completely turned his career around, and he's come to you guys, and within the space of 2 years has gone from being like on the street to an MVP candidate.
Yeah, and it was interesting. Like I said, the Browns, and then Carolina, because he didn't really do much with Carolina, actually, because Carolina, I'm not sure, are you allowed to swear on this, or?
Fucking
Carolina,
go for it.
Carolina were terrible, sorry. Carolina fans there. And then, like I said, that Rams, like, he had about 2 days with the team, then he came back and led the fourth quarter comeback, didn't he, in his, like, first appearance on a Thursday Night Football after 2 days. But like I said, he's always had that chip on the shoulder. He came to us with that just 1 year contract to prove himself. And like I said, Tom Brady built an incredible team around him. Obviously, we did lose some of them with Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown, which, again, the news today, absolutely insane. And then, like, having that team, and then having somebody like Baker come in and lead that team. Everyone, I think, all the bookies, all the fans were expecting that kind of transition. It's going to be a transition year. We're just going to get him in for a year or two. We're probably going to do crap. We'll get a high draft pick, and we'll get a quarterback in the draft. Nobody expected us to win the NFC South, and we did it. And then, like I said, this season, like I said, we're just enjoying the show now. We're just enjoying Baker Bake. And like I said, you may say the NFC South is a terrible division, and I'll keep taking that, and hopefully we take it 10 years in a row like the Patriots used to do. So,
What have you made so far? So I'm going to bring up I've got, where is it? Here it goes. I've got the stat board up here for the Bucs. So
yeah,
as it currently stands right now, you're 17th in total offense. So it's just about average for total offense. You're only ranked 24th in rushing, 13th in the pass. You average just over 24.5 points per game. So around about 15th. Your rush defense is very good, though, ranked 7th. Not quite as good as ours, because it looks like, according to next gen stats are apparently, Kieran, we're now the number 1 rush defense in the NFL.
Yeah, which makes this, I guess, set up this weekend for an absolute sling fest.
It's going to be fireworks. It's going to be a fireworks display. I could just tell everyone just shutting out the run. Points allowed per game. You do 22.3, which is tied 13th. We're actually giving up 21 points a game. I think that only happened due to the bloody Falcons coming back and biting us in the ass. And so on. We won the time possession, sacks. Now, we will get on to what you think of Drake Maye in a minute, but the sacks is a big, big problem for us on the offensive line. So sacks, we've had 34 sacks. We've lost 152 yards. Compared to the Bucs, you've had 17 sacks, but it's been for 120 yards. So even though your line has been banged up to hell, it's actually kept Baker on his toes.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's one of those like Baker. He's just somehow you think he's going to get sacked, then he just scrambles out of it. He like wiggles he shakes and bakes his way out of it, and manages to run and get some extra yards, even if it is 1 or 2 yards to avoid the sack. Or he's just managing just to sling it downfield to Ibuka, and he's just getting the ball out. And that was again probably from the Brady effect. Tom Brady was so quick at getting the ball out behind that line. And that's just the way the Bucs have been in the last few years. So it's very rare you will see him just like hold the ball for so long and not move. And at worst case, he'll just try and slide out and run with the ball. So we're quite lucky not to have that many sacks, especially with all the injuries that we've had. So, yeah, I mean, I'm happy with that.
Talk to us a little bit about on the defensive side of the ball, because you guys, in terms of the way that you like to attack, on the defensive side of the ball, in terms of the way you pressure, the way you blitz like more than any other team in the league. You have a very complex blitz package where you kind of confuse and show different looks and whatnot. So just tell us a little bit about how Todd Bowles likes to try and get after the quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that's been quite unique. We've always had those players just going straight for him. And I think it's one of those things like the Lions like to go for it on 4th down and they don't like to punt. It's just that style of play, and that's what Todd Bowles does. He just likes the blitz, getting after the quarterback, pressuring them, because, like I said, and if we give up a big play, which usually happens quite a lot, which is why it's probably going to be a bit of a sling fest this weekend, but they just try and get after the quarterback. Like I said, we only had about 2 or 3 interceptions this season. I don't think we've had that many because we are just blitzing and trying to get that edge rush on there and trying to stop the runner. And again, our defenses have just been, injuries have been hard all across the board. But I mean, I love a defensive play back in the day with Zap and looking at kind of those players just going for the ball. I think it's always been like a Bucs kind of thing, the Pirates going for the ball. So I like it. I do wish we'd stop giving up 20, 30, 40 yard passes. But
the problem with that though is that we know Bowles does like his blitzes. So Tampa Bay is 4th highest pressure rate, just under 40%, the 7th highest blitz rate, 35%, is tied 8th in sacks at 25. The problem with this is though, when you play by the blitz, you die by the blitz. And at some point, Drake is going to find 2 or 3 openings and he's just going to unleash. And whether that's over the middle to Hunter Henry, whether that's a crossing route to either Pop Douglas or Stephon Diggs, or maybe it's an absolute bomb that he throws to our rookie who'll be playing in replace of Kayshon Boutte in Kyle Williams. So that's the only issue I have with the Bucs. It goes, they're going to cause us problems, but you're also going to give us openings to say, oh, you're giving me a chance? Sweet. There we go.
Yeah.
Because your linebackers haven't covered that well in pass coverage.
No, and like I said, they've always been like just trying to rush after the quarterback and get to the quarterback. I'm not mistaken, I could be completely wrong, but Hunter Henry's like top 5 in like fantasy for tight ends this season. He's been incredible. He might be top 10. I'm just looking at fantasy football, for example, and I know Hunter Henry's always quite up there. I almost picked him up, not this weekend, but last weekend. But he just seems to be having a really good season, Hunter Henry. I think maybe that's just that drop off where Drake Maye's just going for his kind of safety bow there. But even Kayshon Boutte, I mean, he's been pretty decent from what I've seen as well from red zone and stuff like that. But yeah, the big plays unfortunately do happen. I don't think we've given up too many big long touchdowns. It's just the long plays down the field, and then hopefully stopping them in that red zone and going for the field goals. But yeah, it's die by the blitz, and that's just the way we are.
It's going to be interesting for Drake Maye because he, although he has been knocked down, I mean, we've given up 12 sacks in the last 2 weeks. I mean, we've been speaking gospel on this for the last 2 weeks now, so this cannot continue. Now, Drake came out early on in the week and actually said most of the sacks he's taken are actually his fault, and that's mostly due to trying to climb into the pocket or trying to scramble out, and by the time he does, there's already someone dragging him down. So fair play for trying to hold yourself accountable.
Trying to prolong the play, shake and bake it.
He's trying to prolong the play, but at some point it's going to come back to bite us. The thing is, though, he is very good against the blitz. When he gets his chances, Drake Maye is very good against the blitz. He's got like 130 passer rating against the blitz. So it's this has caused a little bit of cause for concern on your side of things. But Todd Bowles is going to throw a lot of different blitz packages at different angles. He's going to make the linebackers drop into coverage at one point. It's going to be pre-snap, and then it'll be post-snap reads as well. This is going to test Drake. This is going to test Drake in this game. And the thing is, we've already played the number one defense in the NFL in the Cleveland Browns, and he got the job done then. We played the top secondary last week in the NFL on the Falcons, and he did 250 odd yards in the air on their secondary, which is still pretty decent. I think this sort of defense, though, I think is going to be it's a different beast. I think it's not not all world tier, but they know it's a, I don't like using this term, but I'll use it for this case. You play with piss and vinegar. It's basically what the Bucs defense does. So it's going to be crazy. One question for you: what have you made so far of our quarterback, of Drake Maye? I mean, have you seen him? Have you seen much of him, or while you've been concentrating on the Bucs, have you seen bits of him? What have you made of Drake Maye so far?
So like Sunday in my house, like football is like, so I have 2 tellies when it comes to Sunday. From September till February, I have 2 tellies in my living room. One has got Red Zone on, one has usually got the Sky game or the Buccaneers game on if that's on. So I do watch Red Zone every week. So anytime that he's been on there, and like I said, they are like 6th. He's 6th at the minute. We said he's top 10. He's 6th in passing yards. Like Drake Maye, he's had a really good season so far, which has been quite surprising because, like I said, the thing is with the Patriots, they seem to be quite a well-oiled machine, but they don't really have that. I'm trying to find the right word here. Like they don't have a big name, a big star. They're just kind of a team. I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn there, but there isn't that kind of like Mike Evans. There isn't like a Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know obviously you drafted quite high with Trayvon Henderson, but I've seen Ramondre Stevenson more than I've seen Trayvon Henderson when I'm watching Red Zone.
When he's not fumbling the ball, yeah, but
you'll see more of Trayvon this weekend.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think like so, but I think I said like with the passing game, running game's probably not going to be. Unfortunately, Bucky Irving is going to be out, so Rashard White is going to be back in. Again, you've got those double Trayvon and Ramondre, so we've always been quite good at stopping that, our defense. So I think, like you said, it is going to be a passing shootout. I think we could possibly see both quarterbacks hit over 300 yards. Put that bet on, maybe. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. He's, from what I've seen, because like I said, there isn't really the big star at the Patriots. They've just kind of been a well-oiled machine, and they stepped up, and he's played, from what I've seen, really well.
I'll just extend that question and ask you, something that we ask all of our guests is, what's the general feeling from the Bucs fan base, A, towards us as an opposition, and B, towards this game this weekend in particular?
Yeah, I mean, obviously 6-2. It's a really big game. Luckily, we are in different conferences, so who knows? Super Bowl. This could be a Super Bowl preview at 6-2. I've never really had any issues with the Patriots. I've always been a Tom Brady fan, even before. Obviously, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed him. I think a lot of people do have those issues because of the dynasty and dominating, obviously, for all of those years, which I'm sure you've all enjoyed. So obviously there is that kind of, oh, I wish we had 6 Super Bowls, but we've got 2, which most teams don't, so it's fine. But yeah, I have no issues in terms of the Patriots. I think again that dynasty. I love the documentary if you've seen it on Disney Plus, the Tom Brady Man in the Arena one. I like that kind of side of it all. But this week is going to be tough. Like I said, 6-2, 6-2. The Patriots, like I said, they've just seemed to be getting it done. Similar to the Bucs, we've just been getting it done, and it's going to be quite interesting. I think it could be quite high scoring.
So we've got a question here from Delusional Patriots fan. He's always in our chat, so big up, mate. How's the Bucs defense versus pass catching running back? So I've just looked this up. The Buccaneers defense has been struggling against pass catching backs. They have ranked 29th in yards per carry allowed and 30th in completion rate allowed. This is not just to your normal bog standard running back up the gut. We're talking about, a guy that passes out the back, uses outside zone concepts, crack toss plays, that kind of thing. It seems like that seems to be the Achilles heel in the Bucs. It seems like you don't set the edge well when it comes to pass catching backs. Is that something you're going to have to, try and knuckle down? I imagine you've just come off the bye week, so at least you would have seen this is what we kind of need to do here.
Yeah, I think being in the NFC South and coming up against Bijan Robinson 2 times in the season and in the past, CMC for Carolina, we've always been against those pass catching running backs. But like you said, we die by the blitz. We go after the quarterback. Someone's going to be free. And unfortunately, that's why we probably are 29th, because those running backs are just getting free. And if the quarterback can get it out quick enough, that's who it's going to go to. So I think that's why we suffered in that, because maybe we've got just that extra 3rd, 4th man going for that quarterback and trying to get that sack. That's what I think.
Yeah, and I guess ultimately that comes down to, Carl said about setting the edge, but also linebacker coverage as well when it comes to pass catching running backs. And to be honest, like you're in a similar boat to us in terms of having a pass catcher out of the backfield, because you guys have Bucky Irving and Rashad White. And I know Bucky's not playing this weekend, but both of them are very effective pass catchers. And we've struggled over the middle of the field as well. Robert Spillane's been on a bit of a heater the last couple of weeks or so, but that is a bit of a weakness for us as well, is over the middle of the field. And I guess that's, you're similar in the sense that you struggle to deal with those pass catching running backs because they're not running straight at you.
He's around. So I think that's what Rashad does. Obviously, Rashad White has always been that kind of really good, like 2nd, 3rd down catching running back. And then we've got Sean Tucker, who just is our third running back, and he does okay. He's pretty good, but like I said, Bucky Irving just brings something completely different to the team, and he's going to be a big loss, which he has been in some of those games. Just Rashad White is good, but Bucky Irving is just, I think he's just on another level. I think he's, in my opinion, top 10 running back in the NFL. Like, when you miss somebody like that, it's obviously going to have that effect. I love running backs. They're my favorite position.
Yeah, Bucky Irving was a bit of a draft darling for me going into the 2024 draft. We did a mock draft preview on the show, and he was my 4th round pick for the Patriots. And I said this guy would be a real good fit in our offense. Obviously, he ended up going to you guys and showed just what a great player he is.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was one of those going into it, just watching some of his highlights, and it was just, I want this guy. I'm a big Rashad White fan. Like, again, I love fantasy football. So he was, when we beat the Saints with like one of the last minutes with Tom Brady to go to the playoffs, that was my profile picture for a year. Just Rashad White diving for the ball. Like, I love him. But Bucky's just elevated that running back room. And like I said, I just wanted to come back because he just brings that something different, that elite level to the Buccaneers running back room, something similar that we haven't had since Doug Martin, when Doug Martin's rookie season was just insane. Leonard Fournette in the playoffs. But yeah, Rashard White he's very good, but he is more of that second tier. Like, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Don Pez.
Oh no, I was waiting for you. That was my last question.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough. How are you going to try and start the running game on your side of the ball? Because New England have got the number 1 rush defense in the NFL, and we've limited every single running back that has faced our way to under 50 yards. Bijan Robinson, one of the best backs in the NFL, could only manage 46 yards rushing. Okay, the passing catch you could probably understand he gets more of, but no running back there. Even James Cook for Buffalo, we held him to under 50 yards as well. So what will be your game plan with trying to establish the run on your side of things?
I mean, it's quite difficult because, like I said, when we look at Rashard White, I think his best stats this season is probably only about 65 yards. It's not that much, and that's what I mean when I say like we need Bucky. Like Bucky was hitting like into the hundreds. Obviously, he is pretty good with the receiving side of it all, and I think that's just the way to do it. It is that pass catching running back, because Rashard, I think in the last few weeks he's hit about 70 between 2 games. So our running, we aren't running at the minute. I think Baker's been probably running more. So it'll be interesting because I don't think we're gonna run as much as what you think we're gonna run. Because, like you said, if you are the best running defense, I think it's gonna be a lot of toss it over, and Rashard's just gonna run. I think that's the only way.
Then on the defensive side of the ball, obviously, like, you know, it's a big loss not having Godwin and Evans in this one. Likewise, obviously, we don't have Kayshon Boutte, who's been a real breakout star for us this year. But the Emeka Egbuka is obviously going to have a big challenge this weekend because I'd imagine Christian Gonzalez is going to shadow him as much as possible. Now, Atlanta last week did, and the same with the Saints, actually. They did everything they possibly could to keep their best weapon away from Christian Gonzalez. And we broke this down on the show on Tuesday about how Atlanta were very clever with motion to try and get London one-on-one with Marcus Jones because he's got about a 6-7 inch advantage on him. So is that something that you think that that the Bucs will try and do to try and keep Egbuka away from Gonzalez as much as possible, or do you think you'll let him go one-on-one and maybe you'll see the likes of Tez Johnson or other receivers maybe get a lot more receptions, maybe K. Dotton, because we've really struggled against tight ends? You know, do you expect more of the volume to go to them, or do you think it'll be right, let's get Egbuka open no matter what?
Yeah, it's really annoying when it comes to K. Dotton because I'm like, oh, K. Dotton is a really good tight end, but he only seems to come alive for a couple of weeks of the season. Like I was like, oh yeah, I'll get him up in fantasy. He'll be like a really low pick, and it didn't throw to him at all. And all of a sudden now we're going back to that tight end game, which has been quite nice. But I think, was it last week when we talked about Drake London? He still got 3 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, he did. None of which was on our best corner.
No,
it was it was 2 on Marcus Jones and 1 on Carlton Davis. And to be honest, but we replayed those 2 touchdowns, and it was basically he was one-on-one with Christian Gonzalez, and then Darnell Mooney decided to pick Rob Gonzo, and that made London go one-on-one with Marcus Jones. And then after that, that's an unfair matchup, so it was never going to happen. But the 3rd touchdown he got, that was a thing of beauty. Yeah. No corners getting anywhere close to that. So, yeah.
I'm slightly bitter because I was playing against Drake London in fantasy last weekend, so I wasn't happy, even more so. But no, I think Egbuka, I think it will be a big challenge for him, and I think he does thrive under that. I think he's just gonna let him play and see what happens. If he is struggling at the half, I think maybe they are going to try and switch up. But I think just go for it. This is your test. Are you going to be the man? Are you going to be the person to replace Chris Godwin and Mike Evans? Give him the chance. We love the days back in with the Saints with Mike Evans and Marshall Lattimore. This is his moment to shine. Again, there is nobody else. This could be his moment to be like, yeah, and the future, and hopefully he is going to show out.
So there's a couple of stats that I've recovered from. Obviously, Vrabel has only gone one-on-one with Todd Bowles twice in his coaching career, one-on-one. So there's a bit of a stat there. The last time the Bucs beat the Patriots was obviously, as you said, back in Foxborough when you had Brady, 1970. Nick Fogg missed a 56-yard field goal, doinked off the left upright. And that. However, when Todd Bowles going against the Patriots alone, not with Vrabel, just the Patriots, just in his entirety as a head coach, he's 1-8. That's 1-8. Not particularly pleasing. And the other stat I'll throw out there as well is, although you're coming off a bye, you're still not quite refreshed. You still got injuries. Since Todd Bowles has been head coach of the Buccaneers from 2023, he is 0-2 coming off the bye. Does that concern you?
Yeah, I mean, I always hate the bye. We're coming into it going, hopefully we will get some players back, and some of them are fit, some of them aren't. And I think we like rhythm. We are one of those rhythm teams. Like when we get into our rhythm and we start playing, and I think the bye week is that time where it all just stops and we need to reset. I mean, do we know who we're facing against after those bye weeks? Hopefully they weren't just embarrassing losses, but 1-8 is crazy against the you said 1-8.
Yeah, it was 1-8 in
1-8.
That's when Todd Bowles been head coach. But then if you think about it logically as well, he was head coach with the Jets, and we were teabagging them twice a year anyway. So it was going to be straightforward. But this is a different sort of team that we're going to be up against, and it's our toughest one. It's our toughest one to date. Yeah, if we hadn't beaten the Bills in week 5, I'd go into this game with, oh God, this is one of those juggernauts. We might not survive this. But because we've gone into Buffalo and beaten them in their own backyard, I think we've got confidence to say, do you know what? Screw it. We can go into Raymond James Stadium and get the W over the Bucs. But only time will tell.
It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a very good kind of show. It's going to be a shootout, and hopefully it's going to be one of those games. I don't want a 3-3 or a 13-6 or anything like that. I want a shootout. Just go for it.
I think we're gonna get a shootout of some kind. DJ, our boss man, has put, and it segues really well actually. Big up, lads. Question for Jamie. Beginning of the season, did you tick this game as a win for you?
It's quite interesting because, I think at the start of the season, I don't know how you felt at the start of the season. I think you didn't really have the best last season. So I was kind of like, start of the season, I think, when you go through all the games, you go win, loss, win, one loss. I think we were quite comfortable going, that could be a win. And obviously, am I wrong to say you've kind of defied a little bit of expectations? I mean, would you expect yourselves to be 6-2 right now?
I said we would be 6-3. I think we could have. I think it would have been 6-3. I think going into this season, we said that our floor is probably like 8 wins. Our floor was like 8 wins, which is double the win column to what we had last year.
Yeah.
I think the expectation was maybe we could go with this easy schedule, 10-7, and being the wild card potentially. And then this is what my personal thing. If everything went so perfect, I'd say we'll go 12-5 with the first wild card. I didn't expect us to win the division. I mean, we still have the opportunity. We're still in with a chance here, but we're going to need some help along the way, I think.
I've been famously saying this all season on the show that we are exactly where I have predicted us to be, the exact record. And if we lose this weekend, the exact record continues. But we've just done things a different way than we thought would happen. We both had wins against the Raiders and the Steelers, and they're the 2 games we lost.
We
had losses to Miami and Buffalo, which we won. So it's hard to predict going into the season, but been quite bullish over the last few weeks. I know it's easy to get carried away, but you guys are definitely, probably, arguably our toughest game remaining on the schedule up there with Buffalo and maybe Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I said a couple of weeks ago, I can't see us losing more than 3 games for the rest of the season. So I'm kind of got us at 12-5 at a minimum, which has exceeded expectations, because going into the season I was like, you know what, 10-7 I think is very plausible, but now we're potentially going to win more than that. But yeah, I think it's been great. Like, you know, as much as we're on target for what I thought we would be at this stage, I don't think the way that we've done it would have been predicted. Like, nobody would have said Drake Maye would have been in the MVP race. Nobody would have said we'd have boat raced so many teams this season. Like, it's gone so different in a way, but it's been amazing. And I think this game this weekend is going to be box office. I genuinely think this is the best game of the week.
I don't understand why Brady's not in the room for it. Like, he's doing like the late kickoff, isn't he?
That's
Like,
because
why
he's
is
on.
Brady not in this room?
That's because he's on
It's
Fox.
Fox.
He's on Fox. Then we're on CBS, and also as well because we're on a short turnaround. We got to play the butt fumble on Thursday Night Football. So if you're gonna push it back any further, it's more time we're not gonna have to like be prepared and that. So I think they kept it at 6 o'clock for a reason. I would have loved it to be at 9:25 for Brady to be on commentary, but yeah, it is what it is. Right. Let's get into our predictions. Obviously, me and Kira, we didn't make ours on Tuesday night on the review show. DJ has and Nick has, and they've all decided to go for a Buccaneers win because I don't know why, but it is what it is. Jamie, I'll throw the floor to you first. What do you think is going to happen in the game, and what is your prediction?
I mean, we've alluded to it mostly throughout the whole show, haven't we? I think it is going to be a shootout. I think it is going to be one of those that is just going to back and forth. And we're going to do what we do best. And it is going to be a Chase McLaughlin walk-off field goal to win the game.
Predict score?
Let's go with... See, I always do these and I always mess these up because my math just isn't mathing at times. So let me work it out. Let's go 38-35.
God, what a game that would be.
Oh my God. That's the same scoreline as the Seahawks game, wasn't it? It's the same score
with the
as
Chase
Seahawks
McLaughlin
game.
winning field goal.
Oh my God. I mean, that's certainly over the spread. I think it's like 52.5. I think is the over under on this one.
If the Bears and Bengals can put up nearly 100 points.
Yeah.
I don't want my defense giving up 35 points. I'll be kicking something down the stairs.
I've got Buccaneers on my fantasy defense, so I don't want it either. But you know,
that's risky. That's risky. Kieran.
Yeah, as I said, I think this game's going to be tremendous. Well, I hope it is anyway, but I do think it will be
9-6.
Be very, very good. This is obviously like this is more of a test for us than anything, you know, to see whether we are as good as we think. You know, we're sat at 7-2. People are tipping us, you know, including ourselves, to go into the playoffs, and you know, how far could we go this year? And if we win this game, then I think it completely shifts the opinion, because we then realise that we're good now and we're a contender this year. But like, yeah, we have to pass the litmus test first. I think that's really important. I certainly think the way things have gone the last few weeks, that we can win this game, especially with the injuries that Tampa have got, the key injuries. However, we are riding a 6-game winning streak, and I do feel that is due to end at some point. And we've got the 2 perfect get-right games after that in the Jets and Cincinnati. So I am going to go for a narrow Bucs win. I actually agree with the walk-off field goal. I feel like a late field goal is going to win this. The score I've had in my head all week is 27-24 Tampa Bay.
Have you been watching PFT? Because
no,
that's exactly
because Florio.
Florio has gone same scoreline as you for the Bucs, 27-24, and Chris Sims went 27-24.
I agree with that clown, but there we go.
Well, we have something in common.
You're the only one that's going to go Patriots.
I generally can't believe what my own franchise is actually doing. Every single one of you has gone for a Bucs win.
He's got to believe
at the start of the season. I penciled this down as a loss because I don't think we're just not ready for a Buccaneers offense like this. As the season has got on and we've got better, and the way Drake's got better and better, and the way our running game has stopped everybody, I feel like, you know what? I will go with walk-off field goal, but this time I'll flip the fucking script. Pats win 26-23.
Andy
Still have to do
Borregales returns to Florida and kicks the winning field goal.
Well, he's actually Miami, isn't he? He's not.
Well, yeah,
fucking
he's a
Central
Miami,
Florida.
yeah,
He's a Miami kid. So
Automatic Andy the last few weeks.
So I think
Oh,
we've
yeah,
all
I'm not cursing him.
so we've all gone for high scoring games, but I think we've all gone for the same ending of a walk-off field goal. Oh, this is going to be heart-wrenching. But we know it's going to be in for a good game. We know
What was the score you said, sorry, Carl?
26-23.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Now we go into our final little bit of the show, which we and Kieran always have fun doing. It's our Blazing Six. So we got 6 fixtures. It is down to us to pick who wins and who covers the spread or who takes the points. We've got 6 games on the total. Obviously, one of them is obviously going to be the the Berlin game, beg your pardon. The International Series is back. And we also have to throw a shit one in there. So you can probably take a wild guess what the shit one is. Okay, so the first game up is obviously the German game. Falcons at Colts, or rather Falcons versus Colts, really, because it's neutral field. Colts are favored -6.5. Jamie.
I mean, who would have thought Daniel Jones and the Colts? Like, who would have thought where they are right now? It's unbelievable. But again, yeah, I have to go against my division rivals, don't I? Colts are taking this.
Colts and cover?
Colts, easy. Yeah.
Colts and cover.
I hope they put 4 touchdowns over them.
Well, I hope 4 touchdowns is Jonathan Taylor because he's in my main fantasy league and I'm 4-5. And I'm losing this one. I'm losing this thing. Otherwise, I'm in trouble. Kieran.
Yeah, it's nice to see NFL International are still giving fantastic games to the European audience.
Because it's not any of the shit shows we've been watching over this.
Although this could be better than most of the London games have been in the last few years.
It's the best game. It's the best game on paper. Out of all the international series, this is the best game on paper.
This Madrid game next week, by the way, is
it's toilet. It's toilet.
Yeah. The Colts came back down to earth a little bit last week, and Daniel Jones went back to being the Daniel Jones he's been ever since he came out of Duke. I will go Colts to win, but I feel like Falcons can cover that spread because I feel like 6.5 is quite big. So yeah, I'll go Falcons win. Colts win, Falcons cover, please, Carl.
Ooh, okay. So I've gone for the same as you. I actually, because all these international games so far have been fairly close. Well, apart from the Rams Jags game, but I think they've all been fairly close. So I will got the Colts. I mean, we don't really want the Colts winning, do we? Because obviously it's a piss off. We want the number 1 seed, so we don't really want the Colts winning. Okay, let's just get the shit game out of the way. Jets. Jets Browns. Browns are favored by -2. We've got the attacking power of a fucking water pistol.
I'm going Jets. Why not? Let's go a bit. The Browns have just been.
The Browns covering, or they're going straight up?
No, yeah, Browns cover. Yeah, let's go.
Browns cover the 2. Oh, that's a bet I don't want to have on my acca. Oh god. Kieran.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Cleveland at the points. Jets just traded away their 2 best players. That defense was already struggling with Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, and I feel like all the Browns need to do in this game is just get after Justin Fields, that pass rush, that defense to just completely frazzle them, and Quinshon Judkins to have 48,000 carries and just run all over them. So, yeah, classic defense and running game can win this for Cleveland, I think. So I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns to at the points, please.
So I'm going for a Browns win, but I'm actually going for the Jets to cover. So we've all done something different on this line. So
I think it's so interesting because the Jets, like I said, have traded everybody away, but Jets are just going to be Jets. And you know they're kind of tanking for that first round, for that first pick. They're going to go and win it. They're just going to Jets it. They're just going to mess it up and just win this game. And he'll be like, why have you just done this? Justin Fields will just do his own thing and they'll somehow win. That's why I'm going a bit crazy. I just think Jets are going to Jets their number 1 pick.
Okay, next one. Giants, Bears. Bears are favored by -4.5. I still don't trust fucking Caleb Williams if my life depended on
it. I think it could be quite an interesting game. Like I said, the Bears and the Bengals hitting that last minute crazy back and forth game going in that fourth quarter. I think the only issue with the Giants is obviously with Scam Cataboo going out, and then they've got Tyron Tracy, who just hasn't been able to hit that level of Scataboo. Jackson Dart is going to need to have a big game, and this again could be a shootout between them. I think it could be close, but I'm going to go Giants.
Giants to cover?
Yeah.
Or do you reckon Bears cover? No, Giants and the points.
Giants
okay.
to cover, yeah.
Giants to cover, okay. Kieran?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting game because I don't think either team has been overly convincing, and I do feel sorry for the Giants because if they'd have had a bit of luck this season with injuries, then I think they'd be right in the mix. Because aside from Philadelphia, that division is an absolute shit show. So like they could quite easily have made a sneaky push for the playoffs if they didn't lose all their top players. I'm going to go Chicago win, but Giants cover the spread. I feel like 4.5. They can do that.
I'm going Bears cover. I'm going Bears take it all. I don't trust this. Yeah, I don't trust this Giants team at all, so I'm having Bears cover. But we've all got some different ones here. This is actually quite intriguing.
I mean, I could just be making the worst. This is why I don't bet anymore. I could be making the worst decisions you've ever seen in your life.
We don't bet. It's all fun and games on our
Yeah.
Okay, this one is an intriguing game. Rams at 49ers. The Rams are favored by -4.5.
Yeah. I'm going Rams to cover it all. Puka Nacua, he's back. He's doing everything. Devontae Adams, again, is being a big one in that. And even the running back game slowly coming to it. The 49ers are broken. They're not who they used to be. They're just not. And they just have been a little bit disappointing. The Rams are pretty exciting to watch at times, especially with Puka Nacua coming on the end routes, coming around everywhere. So I think Rams are going to comfortably win this game.
Okay, Kieran?
I'm going to stick with a similar theme that I seem to have been doing for the majority of this show, and that is going with one team to win, but the other to cover. So yeah, I'm going to take Rams to win, but 49ers cover. You know, these divisional games in that division are always really close, and the 49ers have been pretty solid considering all the injuries they've had, and the Rams secondary is still pretty bad. As good as the front seven is, the secondary is pretty naff. So I feel like even the great Mac Jones can light them up. So yeah.
Mac Jones have just seen on Adam Schefter. He's just been confirmed that he's starting against the Rams. So.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, he hasn't done a lot wrong, really, has he? So, you know,
perfect Kyle Shanahan system quarterback. I mean, you could, as I keep saying for weeks on end, you could put a dustbin in there and it will still throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Shanahan's offense.
So yeah, 49ers keep it close, but Rams win.
Yeah, I agree. I've got the same thing for you there. So, okay, Sunday Night Football. Steelers at Chargers, or rather, Chargers in Steelers secondary stadium because it's going to be full of Yinzers in there. Chargers are favored by -2.5 with no left tackle whatsoever. No tackles, though.
Yeah, I think Justin Herbert's had a pretty good season so far, and I think this could be a potential. Unfortunately, I can't stay up and watch this game because I now work stupid mornings, so I can't stay up and watch it. It'll be quite an interesting game to catch up on, but I think the Steelers are just going to take it.
Chargers cover or the Steelers take the points?
The Chargers will cover, yeah.
Okay, Chargers cover, okay. Gaz?
I'm going Steelers at the points. I think as good as Justin Herbert has been and as good as that receiver trio can be. The offensive line is an absolute like abomination at the moment, and they're going up against a really good pass rush. And I don't rate the Chargers defense greatly, to be honest. I don't think it's anything special. I feel like 2.5 is very generous. So yeah, give me Steelers all the way, please.
Okay, I'm also taking the Steelers, but I'm the same with Jamie. I'm getting the Chargers to cover it. I think this is going to be a lot more of a close. These games are always quite close. Our last game is Monday Night Football. Eagles at Packers. Packers are favored by -1.
Are you joking?
No, -1.
What is the fascination like people have with the Green Bay Packers and the betting companies have? Have you actually watched them play? They are dross, complete dross.
There you go. Just to prove I'm not lying. There it is.
That is crazy. Considering like they are the reigning Super Bowl champions. And like I said, the Packers, I went into kind of slowly high hopes going into this, going, you know what, the Packers, they've got Micah Parsons, their defense is going to be unreal. I'm going straight for that Packers defense in my fantasy team. And they're like 20th to 25th. They're ridiculous. Like, what have you done?
Secondary. That's why.
So I think, I mean, put all your money on the Eagles if that's what it is. Like, I think the Eagles are just gonna wipe the floor with them with the points.
Yeah. So what is the strength of that Packers defense? The pass rush, Gary, Parsons, Devontae Wyatt, like that front seven, right? Going up against a very good O-line, but they don't have the secondary to be able to deal with the weapons that Philadelphia have. And the Eagles defense is still pretty good. That honestly, if Josh Jacobs isn't rolling and Jordan Love has to put the game on his back, they lose. Look at last week against the Panthers. That offense was turgid, and they've just lost their best pass catcher to the season with an ACL. I cannot believe that the Packers are the favourites in this game. That is scandalous.
It's because it's Lambeau. It's in Lambeau. Okay, you're going Eagles on the points. What about you, Jamie?
Oh yeah, Eagles are wiping the floor with them. I think they're going double the points.
Okay, so this is the first
push for days.
Okay, this is the first time all three of us have actually got one prediction. And the same thing there. So we've got a lot of different ones there. We will get the predictions up on our X and on our pages on Instagram as well. Jamie, thank you for coming on, mate. Much appreciated. Obviously, you're part of the Bucs UK. Just tell us, where you can find them and what have you got coming up?
Yeah, of course. So we are Bucs UK. You can find us on all the socials, Bucs UK. You can check out our website, bucsuk.org. We are obviously one of the first UK fan communities here in the UK for the NFL and for the Buccaneers. We have got our great event coming up for our northern fans because again we are so widespread across the UK. We had our London game watch, and I live up in the north, so we've got Leeds coming up soon, which for the Bills game, which is just after this game next weekend. And yeah, I mean, we've got great competitions, great merch, and we're just a great bunch of people that just get on WhatsApp and literally have heart palpitations every Sunday in the fourth quarter.
Awesome, Jimmy. Thank you for coming on. Much appreciated.
No, thank you so much.
Cares as always.
I just had a thought, with where we're located geographically, we are probably doing a big triangle right now of the UK. With you, so whereabouts are you, Jamie? Up north?
I'm from Blackpool.
Right. Oh, I was there on a stag do a few months ago.
That's what we're known for now.
Right up in the northwest. I'm right on the east coast in Suffolk, and then Carl's right in the south.
I'm down in the south.
So we are forming a big triangle right now of where we're located.
And I think that's what we love about the NFL. The NFL brings so many people together. Like, I'm a football fan. I'm a footy fan in terms of English football. I am a Liverpool fan. And I think just the NFL and the UK scene, it's just been beautiful. Like when I used to have my own podcast for American football, just bringing these communities together, it's just been great. And like I said, when you go to watch the London games, it's just a big community. Everyone's just there just to enjoy football. And again, the NFL UK scene is a wonderful thing to be a part of. And I think with all you guys and everyone else, like all of these UK fan communities, like doing their their podcasts and their events and just bringing people together for the love of the game. And we're happy to help each other out and do all of that. So I just love, like I said, the NFL UK scene. It's just beautiful.
No, it's good to have you on, mate. Thank you for coming on. And yeah, we're spread out all over the UK. We're trying to draw triangles. It's like we're creating our own version of the.
It would be impossible for us to do some kind of meetup, because where would you put it? Like, so we have. Nick...
Well, I would say Birmingham, but that's probably a no-go zone at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, what we do in the Bucs, because we do have South and North, we just do 2. Why not? Let's make it even better. And obviously, if those people that want to make it, they can do. We do have quite a good relationship with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers obviously in Florida as well. So they do meetups over there, so we can get discounts and tickets and stuff over there as well. So we can actually go and meet up in Florida, which is great for those fans. I'm a school teacher. I can't, unfortunately. But like I said, having those meetups twice, I think that's the best way, North and South. So do 2, and then you get double the fun.
I mean, to be fair, Carl, you know, with DJ being based out in Gibraltar, us 4 are probably better off meeting somewhere in France, because that's probably like midway for both.
But there's no NFL games in France. No one likes the NFL in France. I could be wrong.
No.
I could be wrong. I've never been to a European American football game. Obviously, because they got the European League, haven't they? And they got the Paris. I can't remember what their team is now called, but they're called Paris something. I can't remember. But yeah, no, the closest one with us, we've always met. I think one of our meetups was in Frankfurt 3 years ago, when obviously we played the Colts in that shit debacle, that 10-6 Shabatle match. And then the following year, we met up at Wembley. We all met up in London. First time I got to meet Kieran as well at Wembley for the Pats Jags game at Wembley. And well, the least said about that, the better as well. So I've seen like
it hasn't worked out well.
I've seen my team play twice, and we've lost twice.
Yeah,
although we did get to see Drake Maye. We actually saw Glenn thought, actually, you know what? There is some talent in that kid. Maybe we should keep hold of him. Love Bill, we've got it. Jamie, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Much appreciated. Thank you to everyone who's been watching. Thank you to everyone that's been listening. The link to Bucs UK's Twitter and Instagram page is down in the description below, so go make sure you check them out. We're going out of here. Smash the like button, Gronk spike the subscribe button, tell all your friends, follow us on our social media platforms, and make sure you follow the podcast on Spotify and on Apple as well. And I will leave you with our little 20-second montage we did at the start of the show to end it. So, big thank you to Jamie. Good night. God bless. Go Patriots.
No additional shot nor powder. A compass that doesn't point north. And I half expected it to be made of wood. You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
But you have heard of